July is over and done, so it's once again time for my favorite iOS games of the month. This particular mix contains some classic arcade-style pixel games, as well as some more traditional puzzle and tap-based app games. To begin with, let's take a look at The Long Siege. Now, this is a genre that's been getting more and more popular in app games, and that's where you're taking the puzzle formula but combining it with something else. In this case, strategy games. The entire idea is that by matching certain tiles together, you'll summon troops to attack an enemy tower. If you get combinations of 4 or 5, you'll get larger, more powerful versions of them, either getting warriors, archers, or mages. Combining tiles can have other effects as well, like giving you gold, repairing your tower, and giving the option to summon cannons that can attack enemy troops that are defended by shields, or just dealing direct damage to aid your troops. After completing so many different side quests or main missions, you can take the gold and silver you've gained to improve your troops or your base, increasing how powerful your cannons are, giving you more health, or giving your troops special abilities to make them more effective. This is an excellent addition to your options for different puzzle hybrid games, and while it's not free to play, it's pretty cheap and definitely worth picking up. Next up is Tofu Fury, the newest game from Amazon Game Studios, which has been pumping out a lot of iOS games the past couple months, but this is really the first one that has fully caught my attention. Now, this is using a pretty familiar formula for app games where it's sort of a puzzle platformer fusion with a little bit of combat in it, but what it does really well is striking a nice balance of slowly adding new mechanics as you go along, keeping the levels from becoming stale. Now, as is pretty common in games of this type, it's pretty easy to just complete a level. The real challenge comes from meeting all the game's different side objectives by collecting so many items, finishing levels in so much time, or with so many few moves. It's pretty tough to try and 100% this game, and there's also challenge missions so you can try and rank yourself on a scoreboard against your friends. The production values for this game are great, the level design is fantastic, it's one of the better titles to come out of Amazon Game Studios, and definitely worth taking a look at. Now, for third, we're going from high production value to low with Tap Quest. Now, to be perfectly honest, when I first saw this game, I thought it was just another cookie clicker ripoff and wasn't very interested, but turns out it's actually something a bit different. It definitely does have some mechanics in common, but it takes a little more of your attention. What you have to do is you're controlling a main hero protecting a tower from oncoming enemies. You tap the left screen to attack to the left, right screen to attack to the right. You can just go back and forth attacking enemies, and if any of them stand on the tower long enough, it summons a dark evil dragon and it's game over. Aiding you'll be able to upgrade the tower to have its own cannon, as well as a fairy that'll attack enemies, and sometimes you'll get special drops that give you special attacks, such as setting your sword on fire, creating huge explosions, or sending out a chain lightning wave. Every time you fail, you'll take all the gold you've saved up to increase your hero's powers, improve your tower and fairy, unlock new abilities, equip new armor, all kinds of stuff to make it easier. Honestly, the basic concept of this game is pretty simple. It's just make yourself stronger and then tap left and right like crazy. But if you're looking for something super simple to just kill time with mindlessly, this is a great option. The in-app purchase options in it are a little on the ridiculous side, but they're not necessary at all to complete the game, so you don't have to worry about dropping any cash on it unless you're really desperate to finish it very quickly. Now, fourth up, we have more pixely action with Samurai Blitz. This is a side-scrolling action game that's entirely focused on just jumping and attacking enemies and avoiding obstacles. Pretty simple idea, but the execution is really well done with a fantastic soundtrack and visuals. One thing I really appreciate about the game is that it isn't taking the modern app approach of just making an endless runner, but instead treats it more like an old school arcade game where there are multiple levels and there are bosses you need to deal with. Another thing I really like is that they did a great job on pricing their in-app purchases. There's really not a whole lot you have to buy to do well in this game. There are ninja scrolls that give you different special abilities that you can equip, but outside of that, everything else is pretty much cosmetic. And if you want to buy gold to speed up the process, it only takes $1, $3 tops to buy most of what you absolutely need, or if you want to support the developers, there's also an option to pay $3 to just permanently double how much gold you gain, so you still have to grind things out and play the game, but you're still throwing them a little money. Real simple gameplay that's tons of fun with a great aesthetic. Definitely make this one title this month to look out for and give a chance. Now, last but not least, we have another arcade-style game, and this is a genre that I'm really surprised we haven't seen more app games try and do, and that's Operation Dracula, a bullet hell game. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the bullet hell genre, the way it works is that it's a top-down shooter, which seems fairly standard, but what makes it very different is that there are enemy attacks, missiles, bullets, everywhere that you have to dodge constantly, thus the name Bullet Hell. Now, if you've never played the genre before, this game can be a bit daunting at first, but it does offer an easy mode where enemies are a lot easier to kill, you're a bit more resilient, and there's not nearly as much shit flying on the screen every moment. However, playing in easy mode isn't going to get you any achievements, you can't unlock the game's hidden character, and you can't even fight the final boss. So it's a good way to get your feet wet, but after that you really need to tackle the challenge of the game's normal mode. You do have 3 different characters you can play as, all that have their own different attacks, special moves, and a bomb attack, and if you beat the game with all 3 of them, you can unlock a 4th character. This game is a little on the pricier side for an app game, but honestly, with the amount of time that you could soak into this, if you're up to the challenge, it's easily worth it. Not a game for those of you that are faint of heart or just want to have a casual game experience on the side. This one is definitely about the challenge. Well, those were my favorite app games of July 2015. As always, there were a whole lot more titles that came out this month that caught my eye, but just didn't quite make the list. So if there's a game that you love that you didn't see listed, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button to let me know. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitter. I'll be seeing you guys later with more great content, but until then, I'm Kevin Kenson, and I'll see you guys later.